Pi Network has finally arrived at a critical point in its life cycle, but there's still no full launch. Even with the technical groundwork for much of the network now complete, users are becoming increasingly frustrated with delayed KYC verifications, token migrations, and release of long-promised rewards. Before you click away thinking this is another boring Pi Network update, let me ask you something that will blow your mind. What if I told you that every single KYC delay, every reward postponement, and every frustrating waiting period you've experienced isn't incompetence, but actually a brilliant strategy to make you incredibly wealthy? Pi Network is playing the long game. If the plan holds water, it could usher in a more robust token economy, and maybe, just maybe, the financial boon many early adopters are dreaming of. Stay right here, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you see Pi Network forever. Welcome back to the most honest Pi Network channel on YouTube, my fellow pioneers from every corner of this beautiful planet. Whether you're tuning in from the bustling streets of Lagos, the tech hubs of Bangalore, the financial districts of New York, or the tropical islands of the Philippines, I want you to join our community by smash subscribe button and ring notification bell if you haven't already, so you never miss an update. Also, drop comment saying Pi Network to the moon along with your country name to paint this comment section with flags from around the world and show everyone just how massive our global Pi family really is. I'm Nathan, and today's video is going to be different. I'm not here to give you the same recycled information you've heard 1,000 times. Instead, I'm going to expose the real mastermind strategy happening behind the scenes at Pi Network headquarters. I'll reveal why crypto expert Dr. Altcoin believes these delays are actually protecting your financial future, why the current trading range of 40 to 50 cents is just the beginning, and how the Pi core team might be orchestrating the most sophisticated token launch in cryptocurrency history. So buckle up, hit that like button to show your support, and prepare to have your mind completely blown. What do you think about this revolutionary strategy? Are you willing to embrace the wait for potentially life-changing rewards? Does Dr. Altcoin's analysis change how you view Pi Network's timeline? Are you starting to see these delays as protection rather than frustration? I want to hear your thoughts, your concerns, and your hopes for Pi Network's future. After years of development, countless updates, and millions of users worldwide, Pi Network has finally arrived at what I call the moment of truth. The technical groundwork is essentially complete, the ecosystem is functioning, and the community is stronger than ever. Yet here we are, still waiting for full launch, still dealing with KYC verification delays, and still watching our tokens sit in digital wallets without full utility. The frustration is real, and I know many of you are questioning whether Pi Network will ever deliver on its promises. But here's where things get fascinating. According to Dr. Altcoin, a respected crypto analyst who has been studying Pi Network's behavior patterns, these delays aren't random technical setbacks or signs of a struggling project. Instead, they represent something far more sophisticated and strategic than most people realize. He believes we're witnessing a carefully orchestrated plan by the Pi core team to protect not just the network, but your investment and the entire global Pi community. Right now, Pi is trading in that narrow band between 40 and 50 cents, and Dr. Altcoin argues this is exactly where the Pi core team wants it to be. This isn't the final price of Pi, he explains, but rather the beginning of what he calls the price discovery phase. Think about it this way. The market hasn't fully awakened to Pi's true potential yet. The trading volume is controlled, the supply is limited, and most importantly, the majority of Pi tokens are still locked away waiting for KYC completion and reward distribution. Dr. Altcoin's analysis suggests that the Pi core team has a target price in mind, somewhere around $10 per token, before they're willing to unleash the full power of peer-to-peer trading and complete ecosystem functionality. This isn't just speculation, this is strategic thinking at its finest. By maintaining control over the token release schedule, they're essentially allowing the price to naturally consolidate and find its true value without the chaos that typically accompanies new cryptocurrency launches. Here's where the genius of this strategy becomes crystal clear. Imagine for a moment that Pi Network suddenly announced tomorrow that all KYC processes were complete, all rewards were distributed, and full trading was enabled across all platforms. What would happen? The answer is both obvious and terrifying for long-term value creation. Millions of users who have been waiting years for their rewards would immediately rush to sell their tokens. This isn't about lack of faith in Pi Network, it's simple human psychology. People want to see real money in their bank accounts after years of mining and waiting. The problem is that when millions of people try to sell simultaneously, the price doesn't just drop, it collapses. All those years of development, all that community building, all that technological innovation would be wiped out in a matter of hours by a massive price crash that would destroy confidence forever. Dr. Altcoin explains that by controlling the release of tokens through strategic KYC delays and phased reward distribution, the PiCoin team is essentially preventing this catastrophic scenario. They're giving the market time to absorb available tokens gradually, allowing the price to stabilize and grow organically rather than being destroyed by overwhelming selling pressure. What we're witnessing isn't just delay tactics, it's long-term vision in action. The PiCoin team understands something that many cryptocurrency projects have learned too late. Sustainable growth is far more valuable than explosive growth followed by collapse. They're building an ecosystem that can support not just today's users, but millions of future users who haven't even heard of Pi Network yet. Consider the broader implications of this strategy. Every day that passes with controlled token release is another day for the Pi ecosystem to mature. More merchants are integrating Pi payments, more developers are building on the Pi platform, and more users are discovering the network's potential. When the floodgates finally open, Pi won't just be another cryptocurrency competing for attention, it will be a fully functional digital economy with real-world utility and established value. Dr. Altcoin also hints at something even more revolutionary happening behind the scenes. He suggests that the PiCoin team might be considering advanced token economics mechanisms like longer-term token locking or strategic token burning to further enhance value creation. Token locking would mean that even when rewards are distributed, users might have incentives to hold their tokens for extended periods, reducing immediate selling pressure and supporting price stability. Token burning, on the other hand, would permanently remove tokens from circulation, effectively reducing the total supply and increasing the value of remaining tokens. These aren't just theoretical concepts. They're proven strategies that have been successfully implemented by other major cryptocurrency projects to create sustainable value growth. Remember, Pi Network isn't just serving users in one country or region. We're talking about a global community spanning over 200 countries, with users from vastly different economic backgrounds and financial situations. A price crash wouldn't just affect wealthy investors who could absorb losses, it would devastate ordinary people who have invested their time and hope in Pi Network's success. The PiCoin team's cautious approach is actually a form of community protection. They're ensuring that when Pi finally reaches its full potential, the benefits will be shared across the entire global community rather than being concentrated among a few early sellers who happen to time the market perfectly. This level of consideration for community welfare is unprecedented in the cryptocurrency space. What many people don't realize is that Pi Network is operating in a completely different environment than Bitcoin or Ethereum did during their early days. The cryptocurrency market is now much more sophisticated, with institutional investors, regulatory frameworks, and established trading patterns. The PiCoin team can't just launch tokens into the market and hope for the best. They need to consider market dynamics that didn't exist when other cryptocurrencies were starting. By taking their time and carefully managing the token release process, they're ensuring that Pi Network will be positioned to thrive in today's complex cryptocurrency ecosystem rather than being overwhelmed by it. This strategic patience might be frustrating in the short term, but it could be the difference between Pi becoming another forgotten cryptocurrency experiment and Pi becoming a lasting pillar of the digital economy. Following the major announcements at Consensus 2025 and the recent Pi 2-day celebrations, the cryptocurrency community has been buzzing with speculation about Pi Network's next moves. These events showcased Pi Network's technological maturity and growing ecosystem, but they also highlighted the deliberate pace at which the Pi core team is proceeding. Rather than rushing to capitalize on the positive momentum from these events, the team continues to prioritize sustainable development over quick market gains. Unlike projects that rely purely on hype, marketing campaigns, and empty claims backed by celebrity endorsements, the GCV system is built upon completely verifiable documentation that stands up to rigorous scrutiny from anyone who wants to investigate. Each transaction conducted using the GCV standard is archived meticulously through high-resolution photographs, detailed videos, official receipts, and comprehensive written testimonies by pioneers worldwide who are proud to share their experiences. This level of documentation is absolutely unprecedented in the crypto space, where most projects operate in shadows and actively refuse transparency when questioned about their actual utility. These transactions aren't hidden away in private databases controlled by corporate teams or kept secret by marketing departments trying to manipulate public perception. They're shared openly and proudly within community platforms, social media channels, and databases maintained by Pi pioneers and ecosystem developers across the globe who understand that transparency builds trust. Community leaders and ambassadors actively validate and support these records, ensuring complete transparency and accountability within the Pi network ecosystem while maintaining the decentralized nature that makes it special. This documentation establishes a clear audit trail that's crucial in the crypto world, where transparency ultimately determines trust and long-term success. This shift moves Pi Network from being perceived as a speculative promise to a proven, community-driven economic model that's actively delivering measurable value across its global user base. When skeptics demand proof, we don't point to white papers or roadmaps. We point to real people making real purchases with real Pi. The concept of decentralization stands at the absolute heart of the crypto and Web3 revolution, representing the fundamental shift away from centralized control toward community empowerment. Yet most projects claiming decentralization operate under strict centralized control when it comes to critical decisions, especially pricing mechanisms and governance structures. The GCV standard stands apart by being a genuinely community-driven value system that emerged organically from the grassroots level through natural consensus rather than corporate mandate. It wasn't defined by the Pi core team, corporate executives, venture capitalists, or any centralized authority figure. Instead, it emerged from the collective wisdom and practical experience of hundreds of thousands of pioneers across different countries, cultures, and economic backgrounds who adopted it voluntarily because they recognized its value in their daily lives. This decentralized adoption perfectly aligns with the foundational principles of Web3, emphasizing community governance, collective decision-making, and user empowerment over corporate control and traditional financial institutions. By allowing the community to determine value through practical economic transactions rather than speculative trading driven by market manipulation, Pi Network has created a living example of what truly decentralized economic structures can achieve when given the opportunity to flourish without interference from centralized powers. Resilience represents the ultimate test of any crypto ecosystem's strength and staying power. GCV has faced significant challenges from those advocating alternative pricing systems, speculative trading approaches, and dual-value narratives that could potentially undermine its stability and community consensus. Despite these challenges and coordinated efforts to fragment the community, the GCV community has continued to grow exponentially and strengthen its position, successfully neutralizing counter-movements and solidifying its presence within the Pi network ecosystem. The consistently increasing number of transactions, expanding documentation, and growing community support serve as powerful indicators of a system that isn't just surviving the typical crypto market volatility, but thriving and establishing new standards for community-driven value creation. The GCV's remarkable ability to withstand these challenges while maintaining stability and achieving sustainable growth demonstrates the underlying strength of Pi Network's community-driven model, showcasing that Pi Network is fully capable of building lasting resilience in the often chaotic and volatile world of cryptocurrency. GCV represents far more than just a price point or community consensus. It represents a revolutionary stance rooted in community wisdom, transparent documentation, and the collective efforts of pioneers worldwide who refuse to accept the status quo of centralized financial systems. Dr. Altcoin points out that this measured approach following major milestones is actually a sign of sophisticated project management. Many cryptocurrency projects make the mistake of rushing to market immediately after generating buzz, only to find that their infrastructure isn't ready to handle the increased attention and demand. Pi Network's continued focus on gradual, controlled growth, even after successful public appearances, suggests they're building something designed to handle massive scale without compromising stability. There's also a fascinating psychological element to this strategy that Dr. Altcoin emphasizes in his analysis. The longer Pi Network maintains its controlled release schedule, the more valuable each token becomes in the minds of users. This isn't just about actual market value, it's about perceived value and emotional investment. When people wait longer for something, they tend to value it more highly and are less likely to sell it immediately upon receiving it. This psychological conditioning is happening across millions of Pi Network users worldwide. Every additional month of waiting is building anticipation and strengthening the resolve of the community to hold their tokens for maximum value rather than selling immediately. The Pi core team understands that human psychology plays a crucial role in cryptocurrency success, and they're using time as a tool to create a more stable, long-term focused user base. While users are waiting for full token release, the Pi Network ecosystem continues to evolve and expand. New applications are being developed, merchant partnerships are being established, and the underlying technology is being refined. This parallel development means that when tokens are finally released for full utility, users won't just be receiving digital assets, they'll be receiving access to a comprehensive digital economy. Dr. Altcoin suggests that the Pi core team is essentially building the entire economic infrastructure before opening the floodgates. This approach ensures that Pi tokens will have immediate utility and value upon release, rather than being just another speculative cryptocurrency hoping to find use cases later. The longer development period is creating a more robust foundation that can support sustained growth and real-world adoption. Another crucial aspect of the delay strategy involves navigating the increasingly complex regulatory landscape surrounding cryptocurrencies. The Pi core team is operating in an environment where regulatory clarity is still evolving, and a premature launch could expose the network to unnecessary legal risks. By taking their time and ensuring compliance with emerging regulations, they're protecting both the network and its users from potential future complications. This regulatory caution might seem overly conservative, but it's actually progressive thinking. Many cryptocurrency projects that rush to market without proper regulatory consideration have faced significant challenges later, including forced shutdowns, legal battles, and user losses. Pi Network's measured approach to regulatory compliance is another form of community protection that will pay dividends in the long term. Dr. Altcoin's analysis concludes with a compelling argument about the ultimate reward structure. He suggests that users who are patient enough to wait through these strategic delays will be rewarded not just with tokens, but with tokens that have genuine, stable value. Instead of receiving thousands of tokens worth pennies each, patient pioneers might receive the same number of tokens worth dollars each. This isn't just about making more money, it's about building lasting wealth. A sustainable Pi network with stable, growing value benefits everyone in the ecosystem, from casual users to serious investors to the merchants and developers building on the platform. The Pi core team's strategy appears to be focused on creating this sustainable value rather than providing short-term gratification that could undermine long-term success. Beyond the economic considerations, there's also a technical infrastructure element to these delays that many users don't fully appreciate. Pi Network is not just building a cryptocurrency, they're building a complete blockchain ecosystem capable of supporting millions of users simultaneously. The additional time being taken for KYC processing and reward distribution is also being used to stress test the network, optimize performance, and ensure that the infrastructure can handle the massive scale that will come with full launch. Dr. Altcoin notes that many cryptocurrency projects have failed not because of economic factors, but because their technical infrastructure couldn't handle success. When users flood a network that isn't properly prepared, the result is often system crashes, transaction failures, and user frustration that can permanently damage a project's reputation. Pi Network's deliberate approach to infrastructure development is ensuring that when the network does open fully, it will be able to provide a smooth, reliable experience for all users. The implications of Pi Network's success extend far beyond individual user profits. Dr. Altcoin suggests that if the Pi core team's strategy works as intended, Pi Network could become a significant force in the global digital economy. With users in over 200 countries, many of whom have limited access to traditional banking and financial services, Pi Network has the potential to provide financial inclusion on an unprecedented scale. This global reach is another reason why the Pi core team is being so careful with their launch strategy. They're not just managing a cryptocurrency launch, they're potentially managing the creation of a new global financial infrastructure that could impact millions of lives. The responsibility that comes with this potential impact requires careful planning and execution, which naturally takes time. In the current cryptocurrency landscape, Pi Network is competing not just with other new projects, but with established giants like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Dr. Altcoin argues that Pi Network's controlled launch strategy is actually giving it a competitive advantage by allowing it to learn from the mistakes of other projects while building on their successes. By watching how other cryptocurrencies have handled various challenges, from scaling issues to regulatory problems to market volatility, the Pi core team can develop solutions before encountering these problems themselves. This learning period is invaluable for creating a more robust and sustainable cryptocurrency that can compete effectively with established players. So, is Pi Network delaying KYC and rewards to prevent a price crash? Based on Dr. Altcoin's comprehensive analysis and the strategic patterns we've observed, the answer appears to be a resounding yes, and that's actually the best news Pi Network users could hope for. These delays aren't signs of failure or incompetence. They're evidence of sophisticated strategic thinking designed to protect and enhance the value of your Pi holdings. The Pi core team is playing a game that extends far beyond the typical cryptocurrency launch playbook. They're building something designed to last decades, not just generate quick profits. Every frustrating delay, every extended deadline, every moment of uncertainty is actually an investment in the long-term success of the Pi Network ecosystem and your financial future within it. Think about the bigger picture here. While other cryptocurrency projects rush to market and often crash spectacularly, Pi Network is taking the time to build something truly sustainable. The current trading range of 40 to 50 cents isn't the end goal. It's just the beginning of a carefully orchestrated value creation process that could see Pi reaching the $10 target Dr. Altcoin has identified. The patience required might be challenging, but consider what you're potentially waiting for. You're not just waiting for tokens to be released, you're waiting for the launch of what could become one of the most significant digital economies in human history. The Pi core team's strategy suggests they understand the magnitude of what they're building and are taking the necessary time to build it right. If this deep dive into Pi Network's strategy opened your eyes to possibilities you hadn't considered before, show your appreciation by smashing that like button and sharing this video with every pioneer you know. Subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell because I'm constantly uncovering new insights about Pi Network and the broader cryptocurrency landscape that you won't find anywhere else. But here's something special I want you to do right now. After you comment with your country, I want you to also share one word that describes how you feel about Pi Network's future after watching this video. Are you feeling excited, confident, patient, or optimistic? Let's see what the global sentiment is among real Pi Network users who understand the bigger picture.